Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. It's already the 8th, so I missed the 7th for the market walk. I've been unbelievably busy and it's not going to slow down anytime soon. We're going to do the Magic market walk today. I'm going to break the Pokemon walk into a shorter video in the coming days. So lots going on with Final Trade right now, just trying to keep up even with mailing orders out. Here we go, the monthly market walk, Modern Horizons 2 set boxes all the way up to 230, and I know that's a sad way to put it, but golly, if we look back, 206 on June 18th, so that's only about 3 weeks ago, and it's come up $30. Very, very nice to see. Closer to $24. Yeah, we'll call it $24. So very nice to see that that is finally getting some movement, and we'll check in on the draft boxes in a little bit, but man, it has been so long that this product has been out of print and unsupported. Essentially, it was a supported product from around July, August of 21 to about July, August of 23. And so it's taken nearly 2 additional years for the supply to tighten up. And that tells you just how printed to oblivion some of those 21, 22 era products were. Moving on, Kaldheim set boxes, $151, just barely down about $7 or $8 in the last several weeks, but again, one that has kind of taken some time to begin moving up, and now the inventory is tightened and it's going to start moving up. But also, I mean, this was beginning of 2021 products, so right in the middle of the print to oblivion hysteria, while the market was still on fire at the time, before it stopped being able to absorb the product so readily. And Brothers War set boxes, $160. The reason I put these up here is these are going to rotate out of standard this coming September, along with Dominaria, United, Phyrexia, and March of the Machine. So I would say do not buy this right now. I would definitely expect them to do what most of these kind of boxes do when they rotate out of standard and absolutely crash, as every store takes every box they've got of this that was up on their shelves and throws it up on TCG Player, undercuts each other, and tries to get rid of it. So you can see that it's come up here. At least WotC has not yet hammered us with a reprint of this, as it's come up $35 in the last couple of months. The last 3 months, $35. Man, it's really going to be irritating if WotC says, hey, here's a reprint dumped on the market 2 months before it rotates out of standard like they did with Kamigawa. Speaking of Kamigawa, $140, and can we actually get back here? Yep. Here we were at 150, and then we got reprinted back down to 120. And now we're back up to 140 nearly a year later. So exactly what we don't want to see, but Kamigawa was a great set, and these boxes will recover, but hey, it's already rotated out of standard, and a lot of the desire to buy them is gone. Strixhaven, $145. This is a early 2021 product, and always good to check in on to see that it's finally started moving up. Let's go to the 1 year view. Yeah, this makes it look like it's pretty steady, up from 103 a year ago to 145 today. So not bad, about a 40% increase in the last year. And Adventures in the Forgotten Realms keeps marching up, 175. And over the last year, well, TCG Player's data might be a little wonky. 112 a year ago, up to 175 today. This is one that really, if TCG's Player's data weren't going crazy right now, if we could see it, yeah, here we go. On the 6-month line, we see this big jump from 123 to 175. So a $50 leap in about a 1 month span there. So this one, all of a sudden, I guess, what's his name? Old Gnawbone? Yeah, Old Gnawbone finally just got good enough that he could drive the entire box up. Double Masters 2022, we're into the draft boxes now, 337. Pretty good performance over the last year. I guess the low point is here at 259, and it's at 337, so about $80 up in the last, we'll call that 7 months. Very good to see. This was a product that sadly was just priced way too high. This was the expansion with the first of the 4 booster pack collector boxes. And so really, when it came out, this was WotC pushing as hard as they could to see how much they could charge for how little cardboard they delivered. And man, it went badly. And here we are 3 years later, finally seeing these kind of prices. Of course, we'll look at the collector boxes, and the collector boxes have been doing pretty good recently. Draft booster boxes of Baldur's Gate. These had a single printing back in March of 2022, and man, that was enough to last it its entire supported life, and it's still running off that single printing here. $155 when you add the shipping cost in. The last year, what if we come up from 93? Wow. So about a 60% increase, or a little more than that, in the last year. So up 60% in the last year. And, you know, this is such an unfortunate set, because I think even 10 years from now, those of us who are still around in this hobby will probably still, on the balance, remember this as a bad set, even though it was a really good set. It was really well engineered, had a lot of great commander cards that people loved. The problem was the print run was way too high. The collector box print run was way too high. Mana Drain was taken out of this set and shoved into Double Masters 2022. And so just coming in the summer of 2022, in the cruel summer, it was so mismanaged at the worst time. And it left just such a bad initial impression for everyone, but the set itself was wonderful. And so maybe in the future, the price will catch up with that, or, you know, maybe all the great cards will just be reprinted again and again enough to keep the price down. But man, I think the collector boxes at least will do well. And so far, we have not seen a reprinting of the Ancient Dragon cycle. And that really amazes me, considering that those cards are in the mid to high double digits, and the Copper Dragon continues to be over $100 for some of the variants. Time Spiral Remastered Draft. This was around a April of 21 release. $276. We'll see. Yeah, it really did have this one big leg up from 203, and now it's at 276, and that took about 8 months, we'll call that, on that 1 year chart. So in the last 8 months, it's come up about 35%. I am going to have more of this for sale. I think I ran sealed sales on this twice, and then I put it on my monthly sales list, and then I did some private deals selling it to patrons. I sold a lot of boxes of these around the low 200s. I have more coming, and we will do this again on the patron sealed sale at a pretty big discount to the market. So we'll see what we can do in the coming months as this gets into the rotation. But 276, very, very nice set. It was an exciting set. I mean, opening the boxes of this was fun. It was such a neat set. Now, value-wise, I don't know. At one time, it had a lot of really great $100 plus lottery ticket cards. It had some foil cards, some foil variants of cards that had never been printed in foil at the time. But I'm sure since then, those have all been reprinted in foil, probably several times. So I would bet this set does not have a lot of lottery tickets left in it. Dominaria Remastered Draft, of course, my beloved, $160. What has this done in the last year? Off from a low of 110, and it was 120 at the beginning of the year. So up to 160. Only a 33% gain in the last year. Only up 33%. I think this will take off at some point, a little steeper. I think you cannot engineer a set this good and not have it do well in the long run. That has always been my thesis for Dominaria Remaster. You have the Tudor Cycle, you have Urza, you have Sylvan Library, you have so many great cards. Force of Will, so many great cards that were reprinted in this set. Double feature, yeah, 174, and just in the last 3 months. So it's come up $20 just in the last 3 months. Interesting to see. So let's see. We have 93 in the market and 10 sold in the last month. How is it gaining any price when the market is that deep? That is really weird. Yeah, I'm going to be getting more of this through a private deal. So, maybe we'll run a sale on this near Halloween. Maybe we'll save it for then. We'll give it a little longer. Modern Horizons 2. Now, we saw the Modern Horizons 2 set boxes had gotten up to 230 finally. These, sadly, are still stuck, and they've come up from 180 to 200 in the last few months. But again, Just, woof, wow, when you go to the 6 month, and that looks really bad. So it's taken a round trip from 190 down to 180 and then merely back to 200. That's what I was remembering. Yeah, pretty poor performance for this. But again, this was in the era when WotC was trying to get you to quit buying draft boxes. And so they just kept sweetening up the set boxes with better and better and better value. And Modern Horizons 2 was exceptionally sweet on the rares and mythics. I don't remember the exact amount, if it was, I believe it was 25 or 30% more rares or mythics for your dollar by buying the set box over buying the draft boxes. And normally with a standard expansion in that time period where we had set and draft boxes, it was about a 15% advantage. Modern Horizons 3 play boxes. How fortuitous to get this one next. $230. I don't have a lot of play boxes up on this market walk for this month because most of them are still going to be in print for quite a while. Murders and Outlaws do not rotate until September of next year. So there's still a lot of time if you wanted to put some of these back in the closet, or you can wait until they rotate and inevitably drop in price and crash hard after rotation for the standard ones. Now, Modern Horizons 3, WotC has been dumping these on Amazon recently, occasionally down all the way at 208 headline, which when you subtract out for your Prime Visa card and slow shipping, you'll be getting them somewhere around 195 or so. So 230 versus that 195. Now, the price jumps around a lot, and actually today is the first day as I'm recording this of Prime Week. So they were down at that price again earlier today, but then this evening they were back up at a headline price of 226. So you can find these being dumped by WotC on Amazon. You just got to watch Amazon. Final Fantasy play boxes. I wanted to come see what the action was with these. And man, we've got release day here, the huge spike on May 16th, 177. And yeah, as soon as some reprints can arrive, man, the market will absolutely eat them up. I hope the reprints are huge, and I hope they get here soon enough. I had a patron ask me if I was going to be running any Final Fantasy sealed sales anytime soon, and I said no. Guys, the reprints for this expansion are going to be so heavy, and there are going to be so many of them. Just do not worry. If you want these cards to play with, to draft with, if you're so excited you got to have them now, yeah, you're going to have to pay the price. But if you're just putting them back in the closet for the long term, wait 18 months and these prices will come down. These will be so heavily reprinted because the market is screaming at WotC that it can handle it. Unfinity collector boxes, all of a sudden 304. Now, 54 left in the market, and in the last month sold 106. So we got 2 weeks of supply left in the market. A whole lot of action here. I wonder what happened with this. Why there was suddenly in that 1 week period so many boxes bought up. But man, in 1 month it went from 219 to 303. So wow. I only have a few of these because I was so negative about this set, and you know, I guess that was a good prediction because now it's taken this many years to get up to $300. But I only bought a couple of these. I'm going to take them out of the closet and put them up on the monthly sales list next month. And do we have any decent gaps going on here? 330 and not too many boxes. But look, guys, you only have 2 weeks of supply in the market. So the gaps are coming. Ravnica Remaster. This has just kind of been comically marching up for a while. At one point, WotC was dumping this on Amazon. I want to say it was high 200s is my recollection. But yeah, pretty big jump. In the last 6 months, it's gone from $390 to $560. So that's what, $170 gain? Yeah, about 30%-ish. Just trying to do it in my head real quick, but a 30% gain in the last 6 months. And what does our depth look like? Only 28 in the market and 28 sold in the last month. So 1 month of depth on the market. One of the investors that I work alongside has a bunch of these, and eventually I'm going to bring them as a sealed sale. I don't know when I can work it into the schedule, but at some point I'll be able to offer these to the patrons at 30, 40, 50 bucks a box off. And Bloomborough, another one that's just kind of sneaking up on us without me really noticing. You know, it's hard to imagine because this is only about a year old box at this point, but $490. Man. And a year ago, what did we have? 238. So, yeah, it has doubled in the last year. 100% gain in the last year. And man, 37 boxes in the market and 58 sold in the last month. I'm always a little sad because in this time period, Bloomborough came out and then Duskmorn was next, or was Duskmorn first and then Bloomborough? I can never remember. But basically, I bet a lot harder on Duskmorn than Bloomborough, and I have about 4 times as much Duskmorn as Bloomborough, and I called that one wrong, I guess. And man, Duskmorn's been okay. I guess it's about $300 as opposed to closing in on $500. Wilds of Eldraine 625. I've been warning you guys for a long time. This has a lot of gaps in it. I sold this to my patrons about a month ago at $500. And patrons, you should probably go check out the monthly sales list. There might be some of this on there. So, you know, go check that out. In the last month, it has sold 27 and there are 47 in the market, but it's the gaps in this that I've been talking about for a while now. Not too many more boxes and we'll already be at 700, and then we start gapping into the mid 700s. Yikes, 950. Yeah, lots of gaps in here. So, you know, the market is just getting really short of this product, and this was well into late 2023. WotC had already pulled back hard on the print runs of collector boxes, and people just didn't realize it. It took a while longer before we really realized what was going on, how much the print runs had been cut, and this one has been a wild winner since then. Final Fantasy, what are we at today? 1180. It's interesting that more recently it's kind of gone sideways. Yeah, you see that release? Was that release day, or was it just... Yeah, that was probably release day. And then we've had... Yeah, 1212, and we've been in that area for a little over 2 weeks now. I guess the market found what it could bear. $1,200. Yep, if you've got these, hold tight, because it's going to continue to be wild. It is going to be, wow, unbelievable. A lot more of these are going to come to the market, so don't get discouraged. If these fall back to 1,000, or if they stay around 1,200 for the next 6 months, the market has to chew through a lot of these boxes because it's so new. Not because I think the print run is high or anything, but because they only came out a few weeks ago. So the market's really got to take some time to chew through the boxes, and the rate at which it chews through them is going to slow down a lot as the TCG expansion life cycle does its thing, and as these prices remain so high. I mean, $1,000 for a standard collector box. It's unprecedented, so be patient. Don't get discouraged and sell too soon. And the Japanese version, $717. This is doing a good job of being a substitute in the market. We see in about the last 5 weeks, it's come up from $460 to $717. Kaldheim, I always want to look at this one because in 2024, this came up 50% over the course of 2024. And it was one of the surprising winners in terms of older products doing well during 2024, and now it's just basically stalled out at this $200 price point. You can see it got there all the way back in December, and so it's been stuck for the last 8 months at $200. It's amazing that people will say, you know, I'm willing to pay a little more for that Kaldheim box. It's getting kind of rare, but when it hits $200, they say, nope, I'm not willing to pay that much more. 102 in the market, 37 sold in the last month, so a little under 3 months of supply in the market. Dominaria United kind of did the same thing. It came up and, well, okay, my recollection's a bit wrong here. 166 and then 217 now. So over the last year, it's come up $50. That's about 33%. And when you add the shipping charge on there, it's come up a bit more than that. It's just surprised me how long this has taken. It's finally reclaimed wholesale price, release day price, and man, after this many years. So let's see, this was a 2022, This was somewhere around September of 22. This came out. The Lost Legends Hysteria, one of my proudest videos ever, the whiteboard, and showing that the Lost Legends only added about $5 of EV to this box and predicting that it would absolutely crash. It then gave up 50% and has remained low priced and has had very bad performance since then. I think eventually, this will tighten up, but again, there were just too damn many boxes of this. Just too many. 98 in the market, 45 sold in the last month. So we got 2 months of supply in the market. More will come out, I promise. Zendikar Rising. Now this is one that has picked up in the last while. It had been stuck down in this 220 to 230 kind of range for a long time. Yep, see, just totally sideways in that range until all of a sudden in early April, it starts going up. So April, May, June, the last 3 months, we've gone up almost $50. Yep. So about a 20% increase in 3 months. And again, these have the Expedition box toppers. I think these are a better box than the price betrays, but printed to oblivion. And you need time for the market to eat up the product when it is printed to oblivion. But remember, printed to oblivion does not last forever. Hey, patrons, if you want a sealed master case of this at, let's say, $1,000 off, give me a message on Patreon. Edge of Eternities, I still stand by thinking that the upside potential is nowhere near high enough compared to the downside risk of these boxes at this price. I'm not worried that I could be wrong. If I am wrong, oh no, I'll buy the next box. So I've done amazing with this in the last 4 years. Once in a while, I'm going to be wrong. Don't worry. So the sales are still going very, very strong. You can see the volumes are holding up a couple hundred boxes a day for the last, no, wait, that's on the 3-day. Okay, let's recalibrate here. So it's broken 100 boxes a day, it looks like 3 times. Oh, that's only 90. So 151 that day and 130 on the day of Final Fantasy release. So it's been significantly below that, but still pretty good. Mid to high double-digit sales every day. And I just think that, well, I mean, look at this. You only have 4 vendors with them listed up on the site right now. So we will see what happens with this as the allocations come in and as people start listing them as they're able. So 8/1, August 1st, we're still looking at about 3 weeks until this comes out. Dominaria Remastered, 285. Same as a lot of other boxes, a big jump at some point, and then it stabilizes around that new price. And what does our depth look like on this one? 55 in the market and 66 sold in the last month. I may have a single factory sealed master case of this coming soon. So if you're a patron of mine and you really, really want a factory sealed master case of this, let me know and we can make it happen. But I think I probably only have one. Double Masters 2022. Wow. Still not back to its release day price of about $280. It's almost there, almost back to its summer 2022 release day price. And man, 4 boosters in a box. It was just WotC pushing as hard as they could to see how much money they could charge. And so not too many more boxes, and this has been selling at a good rate for a while. Yeah, 56 in the last month, so about 2 a day. Yeah, at some point we'll do another sale on these. I think I sold cases as a sale. I'm not sure if I've done individual boxes. I had it up on the monthly sales list at 205 for a while before I sold out of ones that I allocated for that, but there will be more of this coming for my patrons. And Spider-Man 750, the market can absolutely support this. I think this is reasonable. I think it could very likely go higher before release. And that's all I'm going to say here. So I will make a post about this on Patreon sometime in the coming weeks. Doctor Who, $360. Of course, we had that Interesting little buyout attempt, 45 boxes in one day back here in late February, and it pushed the price at the time all the way up to, well, 400 bucks for the last box they bought. And then the market has had very, very low sell through since then. You see these volume numbers, 8 items, 4 items, and these are for whole weeks. And so this was the bonus bucks back on May 16th. That whole week only took 22 boxes. So it's taken a while for the market to stabilize, for everybody to readjust their price memory of this product. 41 in the market and 23 sold in the last month. I still have a big stack of these, several cases that I got through a private deal, and at some point I'll be bringing them in as a sealed sale. March of the Machines, speaking of private deals, I actually got a private deal for this. My goodness, 330 bucks. 340 once you add that shipping onto it. I got a private deal on this just about a week ago, 20 boxes of this for $240 each, because the market depth was so thin. Yeah, 31 boxes in the market and 44 sold in the last month. So wow, the market depth is so thin. And I was looking at the gaps on this, and I went to one of my sources, and I got a private deal at $240 each. So again, we are going to have a very busy schedule of sealed sales for the rest of this month, and at some point, we will bring this on. Lost Caverns of Ixalan, I love this product because WotC basically spent an entire year trying to crush the price all the way back here in August of last year. They started at $3.45 and even dumping on Amazon almost daily up until just about 6 weeks ago. They finally ran out of boxes and the dumps stopped, and I haven't seen them selling it on there since then. And you can tell how powerful of a product this is, that they were dumping it hard on Amazon for 6-7 months. And they only pushed the price down this much, and once they stopped, man, it has sprung back up, crossing $500 soon. 17 boxes in the market, 35 sold in the last month. Wow. Wow. So very, very amazing. And the gaps up on this are just unbelievable. Here we are already at $600, 5 boxes from now. I mean, you could literally just come on the TCG player, buy the next 5 boxes, and you would be doing really, really well. Man, what an amazing, amazing product. And the fact that WotC could not keep it down, just dumping it consistently way under market price for over 6 months. Ikoria, I just wanted to check on the price of this. I don't look at this one very often. $351. What has it done over the last year? Well, it's come up. That's good. $296 to $351. Okay, so it's gained about 55 bucks. So about 16% or so in the last year. Okay. I just wanted to kind of level set my expectation on what was going on with that. 3 months of supply in the market right now. Interesting. This is one of the very few boxes that I never bought a single one of. Now, Forgotten Realms collector boxes. At one time, I had more of these than any other collector box. It's no longer the case. I still have every box of this I've ever bought, but my inventory has grown a lot. $215, and yeah, man, $150 a year ago. So it's come up 65 bucks in the last year. Not going to expect a lot of gaps on this because there's probably still a ton out there. 108 in the market right now, and only 56 sold in the last month. So, you know, it's good to see it get over release day price. That's good. To get over retail price. We'll call it that. You know, the wholesale price of this back in the days when this was being wholesaled was, golly, 186, 183 or 186. One of those two. And so, man, it crashed down hard. It was dumped on Amazon, and it has taken a long time to recover because it's a poorly engineered box and it was printed to oblivion. One day we'll be able to say this is no longer printed to oblivion. Man, it is taking a long time. And Baldur's Gate, $288. Wow, been on this plateau for 3 months now, close to 3 whole months after it jumped up in the early part of the year. Again, this is a great box. It's got the Ancient Dragon cycle. It is absolutely full of commander cards that are staples, and I think it's going to do wonderful in the long term. I opened over 100 of these. I was buying them at $145 each like 2 years ago. Opened a ton of these and just absolutely enjoyed it. I love this expansion, and I wish I had more of them sitting back in my closet. I have a few cases, but not as many as I'd like to have. And finally, we're going to take a look at both of the Lord of the Rings boxes. Patrons, I put a couple of these, I allocated up to the monthly sales list for this month to see if anybody was interested to help fund the coming card store. $2,000 and 24 in the market, 17 sold in the last month. It'll be interesting to see if more people are happy to come into the market and keep this around $2,000, or if this actually gaps up in the coming months. That will be interesting to see indeed. 4 of them sold in one day. Wow. Wow. And the original Lord of the Rings box, 965. So this marched up to about 750 and then to 950 more recently. So it's had pretty good performance in the last year, 543 as the start. So it's come up 80% in the last year, 26 in the market, and 46 sold in the last month. My goodness. Okay, so expect some gaps up at some point here. So look, guys, I am unbelievably busy between trying to keep my day job going, between all the orders I'm filling for Final Trade, between all the preparations I'm making for opening a store in the coming months, between making videos, and that's where things usually suffer, is I'm a day late on this video and I'm not doing the Pokemon Market Walk today. I'm going to have to push it off for a day or two. Patrons, there's tons of stuff on the monthly sales list. We're going to be doing Lord of the Rings gift bundles on the Sealed Sale 21, Thursday night, the 10th this week, 8 p.m. Central. And then the flood of product will be arriving soon, and we will be moving to twice a week sealed sales for at least the next 2.5 months. It's going to be unbelievable. I try to sell everything on the sealed sales at least $20 under the current market prices, so that if you are a patron and you pay me $20 a month for that, you can get your money's worth by buying 1 box a month. And hey, if you buy more, there are bigger discounts. So if that sounds good to you, go over to Patreon and sign up. I am working like mad, guys. It is unbelievable, and things are going awesome. I'm so optimistic for the second half of this year. The first half of 2025 was amazing. The market is doing unbelievable. The Magic market continues to be an absolute scorcher. The Pokemon market is crawling along, still screeching hysterical. And man, I saw some videos some pictures recently where people's local pizza shops and donut shops now had displays selling Pokemon cards. You know, we are getting to the top of the bubble when the shoe shine boy is giving you stock tips. So hopefully Pokemon is getting there and it can burst, everything can crash, and by the end of the year, golly, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if Black Friday 2025, all the Pokemon below MSRP, some of it below wholesale? We could get there. It would be hard. We could still get there. Man, we can dream. So guys, I hope you made the eggnog and it's in your fridge, aging. All right. Let me know what you think, everybody. Thanks to everyone who makes this content possible, especially my very generous supporters on Patreon who get all the boxes at least $20 off almost every time. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Final Trade.